Thank you, Mr. President, Secretary General, and Madam Deputy Secretary General. In 1836, 16,000 Cherokee Native Americans were forced to relocate to allow for further American expansion into their homeland, causing the death of nearly 4,000 indigenous men, women, and children. In Australia, an estimated hundreds of thousands of Aborigines were murdered throughout the 18th and 19th century. And let us not forget the shameful treatment of the First Nations people by the Canadian government, which continues to deny many allegations of wrongdoing. Mr. President, I draw your attention to these atrocities, not to reopen old wounds, but to instead remind us of the hypocrisy among us. For the Republic of Cuba, among many other member nations, have been lectured time and time again by free nations of our supposed wrongdoings in nearly every subject matter, especially human rights. Were the Cherokees' rights kept in mind as they were herded away from their homes? The answer, Mr. President, is an astounding no. They were not. Some member nations feel as if these events are no longer relevant. They claim that reparations have been paid and that the once disadvantaged and disenfranchised indigenous people of their lands no longer suffer under the barbaric policies of a racist and tyrannic government. These statements are simply fallacious. Let us look to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in the American state of South Dakota. If these indigenous people have equality, why is life expectancy in Pine Ridge the second lowest in the Western Hemisphere behind only Haiti? Unemployment is at 80 to 90%, and per capita income is tens of thousands of dollars less than the average American citizen. For them, there have been no reparations. The same goes for countless other groups of indigenous people around the globe, and they lay in wait for the day that their foreign masters might recognize the social and economic disparities that lie before them. That day, Mr. President, must be today. This resolution is determined to try and right the wrongs committed against indigenous people around the world. The establishment of a trust fund with the contributions from all member states is the least the Assembly can do considering the obstacles these societies face. This resolution further serves to take all appropriate measures to achieve the goals that the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People set out to do. A declaration which 143 member nations voted to ratify. It would only make sense that these same 143 nations ratified this resolution. It's time to usher in a new era, an era of true equality for all indigenous people of the world. An era where we can recognize the mistakes of our grandfathers and mediate those mistakes the best way we know how. In conclusion, the Republic of Cuba urges all member states to join together and make history with the passage of this resolution. For the mistakes of our past do not have to be the mistakes of our future.